Hello, I am Gavin Olds, and I'm doing my artist presentation on the performance artist Chris Burden. So just to start off with a short biography, Chris Burden's full name was Christopher Lee Burden. He was born on April 11th, 1946 in Boston, Massachusetts. He died on May 10th, 2015 in California. He had a bachelor's degree of art from Nimona College and a master's degree of art from UC Irving, and his key focus was the mediums of performance art, sculpture, and installation art. He was a pioneering American artist known for his boundary-pushing work in performance art, sculpture, and installations. He initially studied physics and architecture before embracing the art world. His work challenged traditional art forms, often placing himself in extreme situations to explore the boundaries of art, the body, and public perception. So on to his career. So let me pull up my script again. Onto his career. Performance art mostly defined his early career, although he did do many other mediums. His main themes in his work were pain endurance and the role of spectatorship. His early career revolved around performance art that tested the physical and psychological limits. A notable example of this is 5-Day Locker Piece, where he confined himself in a locker to explore the ideas of endurance in space. This was just the beginning of his exploration of theme and provocative art. He also did some installation arts and other things which were pretty notable, but he is mostly known for his performance arts. This goes into his controversial works. Most of his controversial works were all performance arts. So an example of this is Transfixed from 1974, where Burden was crucified on a Volkswagen Beetle. So many of Burden's works, such as Transfixed, were designed to provoke and challenge societal norms. By crucifying himself on a car, he highlighted themes of sacrifice and industrialization, while also implicating the audience as silent witnesses to extreme acts. So he put his audiences through many very emotional and graphic scenes that inspired lots of secondary feelings from witnessing scenes of pain, while willingly done by Chris Burden, still nonetheless disturbing. This ties into his most famous artwork, which is the performance art act of Shoot, done in 1971. Let me go down to my script. So in Shoot, Burden crafted a performance that leaves us questioning our moral limits. By subjecting himself to real danger, he forces us to think about our responses to violence, whether we step in or stay silent. This piece, in many ways, is a stark mirror, showing us our role in the cycle of desensitization to violence, a theme that remains highly relevant. So what could possibly be drawn from a work of art to create these intense feelings and experiences for an audience? So to describe the work, Chris Burden had a friend shoot him in the arm at short range within a room with a small caliber rifle. Its intended purpose was to provoke thought on the normalization of violence and the passivity of audiences. So its impact, it was widely impactful on the debate on art, ethics, and spectator responsibility, because there would be many implications of ethics-wise when you are shooting someone while willingly still, ethically challenging. So my interpretation of Shoot is that Burden pushes the viewer to confront their own boundaries of empathy, action, inaction. Piece questions the limits of art and responsibility of both artist and viewer. Shoot triggers human urges and feelings from seeing others go through a relatable experience like pain, and then exacerbates those feelings from inaction, and it shows the extent of human compassion. Who wouldn't feel something? Think about videos online where most people find them funny when it's not too bad. When you see someone getting hurt, someone walking into a wall. This just brought that to a whole new extreme, which made it very famous. So lastly, I just have some artistic characteristics of him. So for his artistic characteristics. Slide 1. Chris Burden's main reason for choosing his mediums, mostly performance art, was that it used the body and physical space to engage directly with audiences, which places the art in real world and confrontational context, which he found fascinating and important. So a history that is associated with the medium that he was working in is rooted in avant-garde and conceptual art of the 1960s and 70s, and was influenced from 70s ethos of anti-establishment movements. He was also inspired by the Fluxus movement and the trend of body art, which uses the artist's physical presence as a primary material, and performance art's emergence as a response to societal unrest and anti-establishment sentiments. Many of his works, of like art sculptures to also performance art, had lots to do with the themes of addressing violence in society and, again, anti-establishment counterculture. Okay. Burden was impacted by the Vietnam War because a lot of his works from the time in his media portrayed violence and the desire to confront viewers with discomfort. So many of his works that had themes to do with war obviously would invoke feelings of uncomfort, knowing and addressing the facts of what is happening in the world, such as all of the horrible killing going on in the Vietnam War, which was at the main time of his work. So to his last artistic characteristics, some of his historical and artistic references within his works confront mortality, such as the Christian crucifixion, which would be in Transfix, which is obviously linked to Christianity and that sort of lore. So he also drew on lots of violence at the time. Again, the Vietnam War, which highlighted parallels to social inaction in real crises. So shoot, his audience couldn't do anything to help him and helplessly watched as he was shot, which is reflected in society at the time, where protesters could not do much to prevent violence while they still protested, while other people sometimes didn't act at all to do it. So conversation and communication goals within Chris Burden's works. His works challenged viewers to engage with the ethical dimensions of violence, again, tying into all of these themes that he had for himself. He explored the boundaries of art as a tool for social reflection, questioning the artist's moral rule as passive spectators. And a lot of his works were also semi, if strongly political at the time. Again, anti-establishment. His works questioned power structures, societal norms, and media influence, and his performances like Shoot were often interpreted as political statements on violence, war, and public complicity. Again, public inaction to make change against violence was something that was very common in his work. Here are my references, some more of his works, and that is all about Chris Burden. Thank you.